Okay, so hello everyone. This is our last topic for the term. So parang kabilis lang no. Para it's just 1 month and a half ang isang subject. So basically, this is our last lesson. It is about taxation of estate and trust. So previously we talked about the taxation of individuals and then taxation of corporations. So now we are going to learn and to know how is estate and trust being taxed. So objectives by the end of this lesson, students are expected to explain the estate and trust tax and apprehend real problem pertaining to estate and trust tax. So basically, our lesson will just go around with estate and trust. Later on, we will be having to distinguish the two terms which is very vital in our lesson for today. So let's start. A person's taxable estate includes investment holdings such as cash, stocks, and bonds, as well as real estate and property such as cars, buildings, and collectibles. The taxable estate becomes relevant when an heir inherits the person's assets and must pay estate taxes on those assets. The heir will only owe estate taxes on the taxable estate, so it is important for the heir to know what portion of the estate qualifies as taxable. Now, we need to understand first what we mean by estate. Estate refers to all property, rights, and obligations of a person which are not extinguished by his death and also those which have accrued thereto since the opening of the succession. So basically, when we say estate, it is more of a pamana. So ito siya yung mga minana ng mga tao, example, to their parents, to their grandparents, after the death of the person. So estate means mana. Okay? So as what I have said before, estate tax is very, very expensive. That is why people nowadays already distributes their property na buhay pa sila. Kumbaga pa parang ginagawa nila is just more of a sale. Parang binibenta nila sa anak nila yung properties para pagdating ng panahon, hindi na magbabayad ng estate tax yung anak nila. But because basically, ang mangyayari naman is talagang ipapamana yan sa mga anak or sa apo. So instead of paying estate tax, ang ginagawa na lang ng mga tao ngayon is uh, habang buhay pa sila, tinatransfer na nila yung properties sa mga anak or sa apo nila through sale. Okay. So here, it is said na yung taxable estate becomes relevant when an heir or yung tagapagmana inherits the person's assets and must pay estate taxes on those assets. That is why very important daw na malaman ni tagapagmana kung ang estate, yung portion ng estate or mana na yon qualifies as taxable or not. Okay? Now, what do we mean by heirs? Actually, it is here. Here is the person called to the succession either by the provision of a will or by operation of law. So, si here is simply yung tagapagmana ng estate. So, pwede na anak, asawa, apo, depende yan siya. And there are actually two forms of succession. We have the will, or yung tinatawag nating last will, and then meron by operation of law. That is, yung operation of law, papasok yan kapag walang last will na iniwan yung owner or yung namatay. Kapag merong last will, yun yung susundin ng abogado na which will be the executioner, and of course yun yung susundin ng batas, yun yung irerespeto ng batas. Pero kapag walang last will, dyan papasok si law at saka yung batas natin kung sino ba or magkano ba talaga yung mga dapat imana or i-distribute sa pamilya or sa relatives. Okay? Now, estate and trust are two different things. Si estate pamana. Si trust naman, meron siyang yung parang trust fund na intended talaga siya sa isang tao. Okay? So to have a formal discussion, trust is the arrangement created by will or an arrangement under which title to property is passed to another for conservation or investment with the income therefrom, and ultimately the corpus to the distributed in accordance with the discretion of the creator as expressed in the governing instrument. So basically, si trust is parang similar siya kay last will. Pero si trust kasi hindi siya kailangan talaga na mamatay yung gumawa but before yun siya ma-execute. Si trust naman meron kasi siyang usually this is very prominent sa mga may kaya, yung mga mayayaman na for example sa trust yung parang if you have heard the term trust fund, okay, so example of a trust fund is that at the when a child reaches legal age 18 years old and above, may marireceive siyang valuable amount of money which is being trusted by yung gumagawa, yung trustor. Okay? So trustor or grantor is the person who establishes a trust. So si trustor or si grantor, siya yung gumawa ng trust fund. Basically, example siya is yung magulang. So kung gusto ni parent na yung anak niya, yung example natin is yung may marireceive na trust fund kapag nakaabot na nila yung legal age, yung example doon ng trustor is yung parent. Okay? Yung trustee is the one in whom confidence is reposed as regards property for the benefit of another person. Si trustee naman siya, yung parang siya yung executioner. For example, sa last will, ang magiging executioner is basically yung common is yung attorney. So trustee could also be the attorney, or yung mga common ngayon is yung mga financial institutions like banks, financial products like insurance, yun. Yun yung mga trustee. And si beneficiary, siya yung person for whose benefit the trust has been created. Siya yung magiging beneficiary. In our example kanina, yung pag maabot ni anak yung legal age, may marireceive siyang trust fund. So basically, si beneficiary doon is yung anak. Okay? Fiduciary is the general term which applies to all persons or corporations that occupy positions of peculiar confidence towards others. So basically, fiduciary is similar to trustee. Okay? So now, we have understand what is estate, what is heirs, what is trust, what is trustor, who is trustor, who is the trustee, and the beneficiary and fiduciary. So now we will be including them, or we will now integrate them to our lesson. Magkano ba yung tax na marireceive ng bawat, nababayaran ng bawat isa? Now, we will go first with taxation of estate, or basically yung taxation sa pamana. So estate are taxable only if they are under judicial settlement. So again, taxable lang siya, may tax liability lang siya kapag under judicial settlement. What do you mean by judicial settlement? It is taxed in the same manner as individuals. Thus, the source of taxable income, the tax base, and the tax rate are the same as whatever is the status of the decedent before his death. So basically, when we say judicial settlement, if it includes already now yung mga legalities that we have. So basically, there is the presence of a lawyer na mag-i-execute ng will, or will be the one presenting to court yung mga kapag walang will. Diba? Sabi kasi dito kanina, kung walang will, it's going to be more of the, sana yun? Sana yung kanina? Kapag walang will is it will be qualified now into the operations of law. Hindi ko na siya makita, sorry. Basta kung sabi ka, di ba kanina, kung walang last will, ang masusunod is the batas natin. Okay? So basically, here in the taxation of estate, nagdepende pa rin siya doon sa ano yung status ng namatay. So basically, it is being taxed on the same manner as individual. So basically, it is still the same doon pa rin sa pag-tax natin into the compensation. Yung tax table pa rin ang gagamitin natin. Kaya depende pa rin siya doon sa kung ano yung qualifications ng namatay. So we will have an example. Dino died May 5, 2018, leaving the following. So namatay siya May 5, 2018. So meron siyang naiwan na gross estate 2,750,000 and then may income earned in 2018 na 600,000. Expenses incurred in 2018 is 75,000 and amount distributed to beneficiaries will be Diana, which is single with one independent child na 125,000 and Dayanara married 125,000. Dayanara is employed with the government during the year. Her taxable compensation income was 200,000. So we need now to compute for the following. We have for letter A, income tax due on the estate of Dino and income tax payable by the beneficiaries assuming that Diana availed of optional standard deductions. So we will be tackling them one by one, okay? But we need to explain first kung ano ba talaga yung scenario. So namatay si Dino May 5, 2018. So may naiwan siyang gross estate na 2.7 million at yung income na 600,000. Yung expenses niya is 75,000. So yung na-receive ni Diana is Diana and Dayanara are both 125,000 each. So on the first requirement, we need to compute for the income tax due on the estate of Dino. So we will be getting the gross income. We will be computing yung gross income niya because as what we have said, estate are taxed on the same manner as individuals. So, source of taxable income, the tax base, and tax rate are the same as whatever is the status of the decedent before his death. So, yung gross income ni Dino will be getting 600,000. Yan yung income niya for the year, 600,000. I-less natin yung deductions or yung expenses niya. So basically, yung expenses incurred niya for the year 2018 is 75,000. So ito yung 75,000. And then kukunin natin kung magkano ba yung dinistribute niya kila Diana at kay Dayanara. So dito sabi, ang na-receive distribute sa kay Diana is 125,000 and kay Dayanara is still 125,000. So yung total na na-distribute sa beneficiaries is 250,000. We need to total yung mga deductions sa gross income so that we will know kung meron bang babayarang tax or wala si Dino. So, ang total na expenses niya is 75,000 plus 250,000. So, ang total niya na expenses is 325,000. So, ang taxable income niya is basically 275,000. Question, bakit hindi nasali yung 2.75 million sa gross estate? Because basically, we need first to compute for the tax due ni Dino. And hindi pa yun siya kasali yung gross estate. Yung kinocompute pa lang natin is yung, ang kinocompute natin is yung tax due niya muna for the year as an individual. Okay? So yung total na natira na taxable income niya is 275,000. So in the tax table, wait lang, wala akong tax table. In the tax table kasi, saan na yun? Yung sa tax table kasi, 250,000 or below is tax exempt. Okay? So that is why wala siyang babayaran. So, ang babayaran niya lang on 250,000 is less than 250,000 or below, exempted siya. Pero yung total niya is 275,000. So meron pang natira na 25,000 which is 20%. So 25,000 times 20% is 5,000. So ang income tax niya is 5,000 pesos. Now, we need to compute naman yung taxable income ni Diana at saka ni Dayanara. Okay? So, we will be getting yung gross receipts niya na na-receive is Dito kasi sabi, ang na-receive niya lang is yung 125,000. Ito lang talaga yung source of income niya. The rest, kung mayroon man siyang other source of income, hindi kasi na-declare dito. So basically, ang babasehan lang natin is yung nandito na data. So yung gross receipts niya is 125,000. Less natin pa rin yung expenses. Kaso lang, sabi dito, si Diana, which is the one we are going to compute, availed of optional standard deductions. So ano ba yung optional standard deduction? So si optional standard deduction, yun siya yung automatic, hindi na natin titingnan yung detailed na expenses niya, pero automatically, we will get the 40% na lang noong gross receipts niya or yung gross income niya. Automatically, 40% doon, yun yung expenses niya. Yan if kapag nag-avail siya ng optional standard deduction or OSD. Kapag hindi naman siya nag-avail ng OSD, basically, kukunin natin yung expenses niya item by item. Ito siya, yung optional standard deduction is just to give yung taxpayer a chance, no? Pwede siya para para mas malaki yung expenses niya, para mas konti yung taxable income, or pwede rin na para hindi na talaga mapagod or mahirapan mag-compute ng expenses. So there are advantages and disadvantages of optional standard deduction. So depende yan siya sa taxpayer. Sabi dito si Diana daw nag-opt or mas pinili niya yung optional standard deduction. So basically, we will just be getting the 40% of gross receipts niya. So 125,000 times 40% is 50,000. So yung taxable income niya is 75,000. Okay? Now, we will be getting yung taxable income or tax payable ng beneficiary naman na si Dayanara. Okay? Sabi dito, si Dayanara is married, 125,000 yung na-receive niya from the estate. And here, Dayanara is employed with the government during the year. Her taxable compensation income was 200,000. So basically, dalawa yung source of income ni Dayanara. Meron siyang compensation income na 200,000 as a government employee, and meron din siyang income na na-receive sa estate ni Dino, yung 125,000. So yung taxable income niya is basically 325,000. Wala kasi dito yung expenses na nakalagay. Unlike doon kay Diana na nag-indicate sa dito na nag-OSD si Diana. So basically, kapag nag-OSD siya, automatic 40%. Dito kasi, wala sinabi na si Dayanara nag-opt din ng OSD. Ang sinabi lang is kapag walang sinabi, so silent yung problem. So basically, Dayanara will be deducted yung sa expenses niya. But still, if you can see the example, walang expenses na nakalagay kay Dayanara. So basically, yung computation natin ng expenses niya is 0. So yung taxable income niya lang is plainly yung dalawang sources of income niya. So 325,000. Now again, yung tax for 250,000 is exempted. So yung sa 325, 250,000 doon is exempted sa tax. That is basically similar pa rin doon sa kay Dino sa tax table. And then more than in excess of that is 20%. So basically, yung natira sa 325,000 is 75,000. So 75,000 times 20% is 15,000. And meron siyang income tax due na 15,000. So less withholding tax, 18,750. Basically, the problem is very silent. I'm not really sure kung saan niya nakuha yung 18,750. So let's say wala na lang ito. So basically, yung income tax due niya is 15,000. Okay? Now, we will be going to taxation of trust. A revocable trust is one where at any time the power to revert or return in the grantor title to any part of the corpus of the trust is vested. So imposition of tax. The tax imposed upon individuals shall apply to the income of estates or of any kind of property held in trust, including income accumulated in trust to the benefit of unborn or unascertained person or persons with contingent interest, and income accumulated or held for future distribution under the terms of the will or trust. Very particular sa trust natin is yung the will of the trust, the will or trust. So basically, kasi nga sabi dito, it is a trust fund. So parang siyang similar sa trust fund or talagang trust fund siya. So basically, very important dito yung will ng gumawa at saka yung trust ng gumawa. Okay? Another is income which is to be distributed currently by the fiduciary to the beneficiaries, and income collected by a guardian of an infant which is to be held or distributed as the court may direct. Another one is income received by estates of deceased persons during the period of administration or settlement of the estate, and income which is the discretion of the fiduciary may be either distributed to the beneficiaries or accumulated totally. So how do we compute taxable income on estate and trust? So in computing the taxable income of an estate or trust, the following are the allowable deductions. Now, what do we mean by allowable deductions again? Because basically, dito pa rin, makikita nyo, ang simple formula natin ng pag-compute ng tax is yung total income less natin yung expenses. So that is the taxable income. So yung expenses na yon or sinasabi natin is allowable deductions. Okay? So what are the allowable deductions in trust and estate? Number one, the amount of the net income of the estates and trusts for the taxable year which is to be distributed currently by the fiduciary to the beneficiaries. So yung net income ni estate and trust for the taxable year is being distributed currently. So yung income niya for 2020 will be distributed during 2020 to the beneficiaries. Okay, so that's one example of allowable deductions. Number two, the amount of the income collected by a guardian or of an infant which is to be held or distributed as the court may direct. So yung income na nakolekta or na-receive ni guardian in behalf sa infant. So yung infant is basically the trustee, yung beneficiary ng trust. So basically, since bata pa siya, meron lang siyang guardian. So si guardian yung nag-receive ng income. Number three, the amount of the income received by estate during the period of administration or settlement properly paid or credited during the taxable year to any legatee or heirs, and the amount of the income of the trust which is the discretion of the fiduciary may be either distributed to the beneficiary or accumulated properly paid or credited during the taxable year to the beneficiary. So, income distributed to the beneficiaries. Now, similar ito siya kanina doon sa kay Diana at saka kay Dayanara. So, income distributed to the beneficiaries of estates and trusts except such income subject to final withholding tax exempt income shall be subject to a creditable withholding tax of 15%. Okay? So, yung final income tax or final withholding tax is 15%. So, example, Ali created a trust naming his minor child, Sampras, as the beneficiary. So, si Ali yung gumawa ng trust. Yung beneficiary is yung anak niya na si Sampras. He transfers to the trust an apartment house with a yearly income of 120,000. His expenses of the trust amounted to 200,000 and distributed to the beneficiary was 50,000. Now, the required prepared taxable income for the trust and the beneficiary if he uses optional deductions. Okay? So, we need to prepare taxable income for the trust. So, let's go first doon sa trust. So, for the rent income, for the year, dito sinabi the rent income has a yearly income of 120,000. Less natin yung expenses. Yung trust expense is yung 20,000. Sabi dito yung 20,000. And the distribution to the beneficiary is 50,000. So basically, this is just a typo error. This should be 20,000. So yung cost natin, yung expenses is, yung trust expense is 20,000 and yung distribution to beneficiary is 50,000. So yung total allowable deductions is 70,000. Yung taxable income ni trust is 120,000 minus 70,000 is 50,000. Now, we need to prepare taxable income for beneficiary kung gumamit siya ng optional deduction, optional standard deduction, which is 40%. So, yung income na na-receive sa trust ni beneficiary is basically 50,000. So, yung income niya is 50,000. Yung optional standard deduction is 40%. So, yung 40% ni 50,000 is 20,000. Yung so basically, 50 minus 20, yung taxable income niya is 30,000 pesos. So, basically, that is our last lesson for the entire term. Lesson 6, taxation of estate and trust. So, thank you.